On tonight's CTV News, 2 years on since it was announced how much of the Central City Blueprint dream has become a reality. And we're at Christchurch International Airport as the Crusaders leave for the Super 15 finals in Sydney. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. Tonight marks 2 years since the Central City Blueprint was unveiled to Cantabrians at the Christchurch City Council. It's only fitting that Marcus Gibbs looks back at what was promised to see whether the dream has become a reality.
July 30th, 2012 at 7 p.m. A crowd has gathered to witness the unveiling of the Christchurch Central Recovery Plan for the earthquake-damaged Central City.
Tonight you're going to see a plan which shows a big green belt around the city, 12 precincts where people will be able to enjoy everything from sports to culture, right through to a living environment, a business environment, and a vision for what will undoubtedly be the most livable city in New Zealand.
Big promises and big dreams. Produced in just 100 days, this world-class blueprint was delivered live on national television in front of an audience of thousands.
So the answer, we believe, is a very bold and innovative urban design led approach to these problems. We want to lift confidence in Christchurch, both from a community point of view, but also from an investor point of view and a developer point of view.
The business community was applauding the announcement.
And we have been hanging out for this. This provides an iconic future for the city. It provides certainty, it provides hope, and I am really, really excited about it.
Despite the release of the plan, residents were still reeling from news their homes were red-zoned, and despite the CBD being the focus of the plan, it was still locked off to residents for another 11 months. As the blueprint was announced, Reverend Mike Coleman criticised the Earthquake Recovery Minister for the lack of progress elsewhere in the city.
He will announce a convention centre. He will announce millions and millions of dollars put in to the CBD where no one lives at all. He'll announce a plan for the CBD when there is no plan at all for the suburbs.
The man who led the design of the blueprint, Don Miskell, was ecstatic with the public reaction to the idea of the green frame surrounding the inner city core.
When we've been working on the frame, and other people who've looked over our shoulders have said, I want to live there, that'll be fantastic.
2 years on, and how far has the city centre come? New revelations show the Christchurch City Council has an insurance shortfall of more than $500 million. It's led to another round of discussions over the possibility of asset sales, or whether the City Council can even afford its share of the $40 billion rebuild. 2 years prior, Councillor Yanni Johansson was making the same predictions.
People should be really worried about how much these projects are going to cost, how they're going to be funded, to invest in things like stadiums, convention centres, metro sports facilities that lose an incredible amount of money through selling off the assets that make money seems completely contrary to good sense.
Financial fears aside, new buildings are starting to pop up. The retail precinct is slowly forming, and work on Anthony Goff's $100 million development has restarted this week. Next door, Nick Hunt is pushing ahead with his site, and major developer Tim Glasson has announced plans for the Triangle. The Christchurch Central Development Unit has had to compulsorily acquire land to make room for the blueprint projects. Work has already started on the Justice and Emergency Services Precinct and the Bus Exchange, while the Avon River Precinct is due to be completed next year. Meanwhile, other projects will be underway by the end of the year. Roading changes will see Manchester Street widened to fit 4 lanes of traffic. West End House will need to be demolished in the process. You'll remember this as the first new building in the CBD following the earthquakes. Labour's earthquake spokeswoman Ruth Dyson has told the press the blueprint hasn't delivered value for money and has been causing damage to the city instead. She says some decisions haven't been meeting the community's needs, citing the demolition of the Majestic Theatre and the Centennial Pool. However, Christchurch is only 2 years into what has been described as a 10-year rebuild. Projects like the major stadium may be pushed back for at least another 5 years. Time will tell whether the blueprint will be hailed a success. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
To mark the 2-year anniversary of the Central City Blueprint, CTV News asked ratepayers what they thought of the progress that's been made.
I guess they're working as fast as they can. I'm married to a builder and yeah, they're pretty stretched all the time and pretty busy, so I guess it's going okay, but I'm not really worried.
Oh, it's a little bit slow. has taken a long time.
It's slow, but it's a long journey.
I don't go into the city very often.
I think we're getting there. It's taking a fair time to do it.
I think there's a lot of things that people don't actually see, but when you go back into the middle of the city, my husband's involved with it, and they're making huge progress on the buildings. He's doing commercial buildings, so huge progress, just not things that people can see maybe,
It appears to be very slow.
It is slow, but I think they're trying to get it right, so I'm quite happy with the way it's going.
I'm disappointed with it. I would have hoped by now there'd be more evidence of it. I mean, a lot of the things are planned, but nothing seems to have eventuated. I say nothing. Some has, but it's. I'm pretty disappointed with it, really. Yes.
And what Cantabrians think could be done differently with the rebuild.
Yeah, probably the inner city advance a wee bit quicker.
I suppose they've got to take the time to get it right, because they only get one chance, don't they? So I'm happy if they take the time.
Just getting the public amenities going as quick as they can, really, I suppose.
I don't know, I'm going into a flash new government building in a couple of years, so I'm excited about that.
I like them to speed it up a bit. I mean, this cathedral thing, is a bugbear. Everybody's got different opinions on that. And there's just not enough happening, that's all.
I think probably the paperwork with the council giving out all their, all the permissions that they need, everything like that, more than anything.
Looking back in retrospect, we had no idea of what to do, how to do it, because nothing had ever happened like that before. In this sort of situation, I think probably we've learnt a lot. If it happened again, we'd know a lot more things than we do now. So it's progressing. It's going to take a long time to come back to some degree of normality, but we're getting there.
Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Christchurch's housing woes has become a breach of human rights, according to the Human Rights Commission.
Chief Human Rights Commissioner David Rutherford has told the Christchurch Press that the city's inadequate housing situation is falling below international standards. His comments come following news that Christchurch's average rent prices are just $20 shy of the average Auckland rental. This is despite Auckland is earning several $100s more a week. David Rutherford says the government needs to step in and sort out the housing situation. He says Cantabrians' rights to affordable and habitable housing are being breached post-quake. The Commission has told the press it's been surprised to be working with normally well-off property owners who have been sheltering family members with nowhere else to go. The Housing Minister Nick Smith has previously told CTV News there's no magic bullet or solution. He says the city isn't in crisis mode, the housing problem is simply a challenge and things will get better in time.
Coming up, models show off a new take on knitwear.
Flash news set, isn't it? Red and Black Sport gets a new title as well, but we'll still be talking every week to the movers and shakers in sport. Red and Black Sport, Monday night, 7:30, here on CTV.
Yuck, look at all this moss and lichen. I'm not getting up there, not in these heels. Time to call Mossbuster.
Mossbuster is a no-bleach, non-abrasive, biodegradable solution that has over 35 years of proven results. You can buy Mossbuster online for less than half the cost of other well-known products and can be yours for less than $1 a litre. You just spray it on and let Mother Nature do the rest, or Mossbuster can do it for you. Check out our website or call the Mossbuster crew for a free quote. Mossbuster, 0800 88 1000.
Our new companion package is a personalised service for those that need extra help and support. A cost-effective solution for someone who needs more than just a taxi driver. Our drivers are handpicked from our experienced team and specialise in providing the right support and companionship. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
Welcome to Caltex Redwood. We're a family-owned business proudly supporting our local community. We're open 24/7 for fuel and shop goods, and we have an amazing team of people ready to help you. Save at least 6 cents per litre using AA Smart Fuel cards. We also offer great value on our LPG bottle fills. We have a full workshop and Bridgestone Tyre Centre. Our mechanics and tyre technicians will get your car sorted. Caltex Redwood. We're just down from St Bede's on Main North Road. Caltex Redwood. What drives you?
Do you wear an earpiece or earmuffs? Do you have trouble hearing people or the TV? Do you suffer from itchy ears? Then it's time to clear the ear. Their gentle microsuction technique is safe and efficient and performed by a fully qualified, trained, registered nurse. Call for an appointment or Clear the Ear can come to you. We also have swim, noise or aeroplane plugs. 0800 Ear Clean. We were in behind the Rose and Thistle but have now moved opposite St Andrews College, 304 Papanui Road.
Tomorrow Today is your science program, presenting a comprehensive overview of the latest trends in science and research. Tomorrow Today, Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m, right here on CTV.
The designer of the Aranui Super School is due to be announced later this year. Two shortlisted private contractors are both vying for what is expected to be a lucrative contract to build 4 schools over the next 4 years. In Canterbury, the Aranui Community School for years 1 to 13 is a part of the project, along with Ralston's new secondary school. Either South African Investment Bank, Investec or Wellington's Morrison & Co will be awarded the contract. The Canterbury schools are scheduled to open in January of 2017. The schools will be built using a public-private procurement model, which could save up to 8% in running costs over 25 years. A public engagement campaign to determine the future use of the Waimakariri District's residential red zone was launched today.
The Earthquake Recovery Minister is expecting the Waimakariri community to back a campaign to determine the future of the residential red zone. Minister Jerry Brownlee's campaign is designed to give anyone the opportunity to put forward ideas for the land. The minister says critical issues needed to be considered before this process could begin, including how horizontal infrastructure within the red zones might be repaired, maintained or removed, as well as issues like flood mitigation. Due to the district dealing with a far smaller land area than Christchurch City, the Minister has already identified what essential infrastructure is required. He's now in a position to kickstart the public engagement process. Approximately 1 square kilometre of land has been zoned red in the Waimakariri district in Kaipoi, Kairaki and Pines Beach. Minister Brownlee says it amounts to an area the size of 74 rugby fields, plus 1,800 tennis courts, with a bit of space left over. Waimakariri District Mayor David Ayres has told CTV News how exciting it is to get the public engagement process underway. Following the earthquakes, 1,048 properties were red zoned. The majority of owners have moved on, however others have decided to stay. There are 36 property owners who have chosen not to accept a voluntary offer from the Crown. They're eager to find out what will happen to the land around their homes. Meanwhile, Greens owners living on the fringe of the red zone have to drive over red-zoned broken roads every day. They want to find out whether their roads will be fixed anytime soon. The Minister says big decisions still need to be made over Christchurch's remaining horizontal infrastructure and flood mitigation before an announcement about the red zone will be made. Mayor Leanne Dalzell says this work is a priority for the council.
Brian Fairburn has taken it into his own hands to clean up the red zone. Emma Cropper met the man who mows the lawns and prunes the plants in the Christchurch Red Zone Park.
Unloved and overgrown, it's what remains of many red zone properties. But not these sections. Brian Fairburn, with the help of his wife Colleen, are a retired couple changing the look of abandoned east side land.
When I suddenly see the grass here about 12 to 18 inches long, sorry, there's no need for that. We didn't have to put up with that, so I decided I would do something about it.
Pruning, ploughing and mowing what remains of over 20 sections. That's 4 hectares of gardening, but Brian doesn't seem to mind.
We don't have to put up with the rubbish that we've had to put up with. We can do something about it, but I think we've got to get out and do it.
Using a bit of Kiwi ingenuity to keep it all alive.
The council's taken the water supply off, which is understandable because the cost to maintain it is ridiculous. So that leaves me with the only water I've got is bore water. I need to look after these bore pipes, make sure they didn't get knocked at all. So we flogged some water off some old fences and made up some garden boxes.
It's not his land though. It's owned by the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority. which means he receives no funding.
It's coming out of the back pocket. We're getting a lot of donations, which is covering it now, which is good. But no, the Chancellor of my Exchequer forks out the money on a regular basis, so keeps her busy.
To date, he spent $4,700, but the community are now backing his hobby. This classic car show was held over the weekend, raising $1,800. A gathering of classic car enthusiasts doing their bit to help one local man.
And Colleen said to me on the weekend, you just stop and listen and you hear the kids are playing and the laughter and the peals of laughter from the kids. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Like many, the Fairburns lost their property in the 2011 quakes. Filling the desolate east side area is giving hope back to their community.
A lot of the locals stop, and what they like is the fact that something is coming back. Instead of looking at the demolition and the empty sections like across the road with the house just gone, they're now seeing something coming back.
But how long can he keep this up? Sarah have told him it's a temporary project, but no plans are set in stone for what the land could be used for instead.
There'll come a time when it'll simply become too big, but I'll stop before it gets to that, because it's got to be carried on. You can't just do it and stop. That's just being a wee bit silly. So no, I haven't seen into it at this stage.
Brian's gardening oasis is forever expanding. This house is soon to become just another part of Canterbury's Red Zone Park. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
A Christchurch business has become big in the global knitting market. Joelle Bautista caught up with the male models at their latest photo shoot.
Lights, camera, action. This is a sexy knitwear shoot. What started as a chat over chai lattes soon became a successful international business. Christchurch knit company Stitch Seekers created Mena Knitwear, a modern knitwear pattern released every month, modelled by a sexy local man. It's been a hit overseas. Most of the client base comes from the United Kingdom and the United States.
Everybody loves it. We've got a big fan base. Every month they're all online saying when's the next band coming out, because we do them as a surprise every month. So yeah, it's great seeing the funny comments and the feedback that we get.
Wanting to see their Kiwi-based business continue to grow, their dream for the small-town company is to become big in the knitwear industry.
Mena Knitwear is huge in the Northern Hemisphere. Our biggest client base is in the States and Europe, and it's just growing all the time. So I guess, of course we want to be a household name.
The models for the sexy knitwear are found on the streets of Christchurch. Knitwear designer Deborah Moore met Mr. May on her doorstep.
I had this knock at the door one day and went to answer the door, and it was an incredibly hot young French guy who was collecting for charity, so I had to proposition him, of course.
The hobby of knitting is changing and coming back bigger than ever. Rhiannon and Deborah agree. This is just the beginning of the knitting comeback.
As a craft, obviously people associate it with old ladies and grannies making pink jumpers, but it's actually enjoying a massive resurgence on the internet.
Hoping to inspire young fashion minds into contemporary knitting, wanting the rising generation to think, not what can I buy, but make instead. As the Mena Knitwear continue to appeal, the online presence continues to grow the customer base. Kate Heppel, the editor of a leading UK knitting magazine, recently tweeted, "The thing she looks forward to most at the beginning of each month is the Mena Knitwear calendar pattern."
Social media definitely propel it, things like Facebook. We've gone from having a few hundred shares on Facebook to a few thousand and that kind of thing.
Looking for models in Christchurch's vast selection of sexy men is no easy feat. Rhiannon and Deborah now bravely hand out business cards to potential stars they see in the street.
First of all, it was massively embarrassing, and some guys look at you with absolute suspicion, but I've got used to it now and I'm just brazen.
The card simply says, "This is not a pickup line, but we think you'd make a great model for our calendar." CTV's Marcus Gibbs, it's your turn to step up. Joelle Bautista, CTV News.
Yes, we might just challenge him to that. Still to come, the Crusaders prepare for their big game, and we have your weather and traffic update.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring moving company.
Oi! Pestral has the latest technology that repels rats and mice and even helps control cockroaches. Covers walls, ceilings and open spaces. Combines electromagnetic, ultrasonic and ionic technologies. Harmless to pets and people, just plug it in. Order your Pestral rodent-free today. Now $149.90 plus courier. Order within 20 minutes and get it courier free. Call 0800 88 88 44 or go to pestral.co.nz.
Have you seen something you like? You can purchase a copy of CTV's own shows so you can watch them again and again. So give us a call on 3777 033 and order a copy today.
Al Jazeera News. International news right off the satellite, bringing you up-to-the-minute coverage of world events. Al Jazeera News. Weekday mornings at 6 o'clock. Right here on CTV.
The Crusaders may have missed out on a home final, but they've boarded their flights to Sydney with confidence. Emma Cropper caught up with the team before they left.
7-time Super Rugby champions, boarding a flight in the hopes of adding an 8th win to their record.
I think we've got a team that can go all the way too, so there's a lot of belief there from all of us.
The Crusaders will take on the New South Wales Waratahs in Saturday's Sydney final. Heading in confidently, the Australian side haven't been able to beat the Crusaders since 2004.
We wanted to be the number one team in the competition, and on Saturday night we give ourselves a chance to be that. So yeah, it's exciting, and we're always looking forward to it. Saturday's game will be the first time the red and black jersey has been seen in a final in the past 3 years. The Crusaders lost to the Reds in the 2011 Super Rugby final.
That game, we're far too emotional. You know, we're split the earthquake, and we're trying to do it for our people, and it was a really tough game. We just needed to win it, but I think we're better prepared this time.
But the Crusaders had a confident win over the Sharks in the semi-final, where Corey Flynn played his 150th Super Rugby match in the red and black jersey. The Waratahs entered the final after taking out a win over the Brumbies, but being in this year's Super Rugby final is a win in itself for the players.
Yeah, we've given ourselves a great opportunity to get out in the final and show what we've got. You know, we've worked really hard all year, and a lot of guys aren't playing footy this time of year, and we're lucky enough to be one of those two teams still in the mix.
And the coaching team believe the side is better prepared this year than they have been previously.
Whereas this year feels totally different. We've got a really fresh squad. I think as a coaching staff, we're invigorated, we're energised, we're looking forward to this ourselves.
Over 80,000 spectators will fill the Sydney Stadium to watch the two teams battle it out, while local Cantabrians support the players from home. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Avoid tomorrow's traffic jams with tonight's traffic update.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's some tips on how to get around this week. Kilmore Street is down to one lane from Madras Street to Durham Street North, so allow extra time when travelling during peak hours. Salisbury Street is one way from Madras Street to Barbados Street. Armour Street remains westbound from Barbados Street to Madras Street. And remember, the 4 Avs are still the best way to get around town. To keep up to date on what's happening on the Central City roads, stay tuned to CTV News first at 5, and in the meantime, visit the Transport for Christchurch website.
And remember that updates screen on weekdays here on CTV at 7, 8 and 9 a.m, and then again at 12 midday. And that website does contain a lot of information about roadworks and closures outside the CBD. Well, we've had some balmy days and very mild nights. Is it going to stay? Let's check out your regional weather.
Good evening, Canterbury. Here's your region's weather. First, let's take a look at Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine, 17. Now looking at Ashburton, Methven and Rakaya, 17. Darfield, 17, but Leeston and Ralston hit one of the region's lows on 14. Looking now at Lincoln and Christchurch, 14 degrees. Heading over to Akaroa, hope it's been a nice day, hitting a mild 15. In the Waimakiriri district, Rangiora, Kaiapoi and Amberley hitting a warmer temperature than Christchurch, 17. Cheviot, Hanmer Springs and Culverden hit 17 today, and up the top in Kaikoura, 16 degrees. But let's look at what's in store for tomorrow. Another day of high cloud and gusty mild northwesterlies, strong during the afternoon with an overnight low of 7 and a high of 17 degrees. In Ashburton, fine and mild with high cloud and gusty northwesterly winds that become strong at times. An overnight low of 7 and a high of 17 degrees for you tomorrow. In Christchurch, the usual mix of sunny periods and high cloud for a mild northwesterly this Thursday, hitting 7 overnight and 17 during the day. Up the top in Kaikoura, mild northwesterlies increasing to become strong and gusty later in the day. Expect fine and high cloud. An overnight low of 7 and a high of 18 degrees. And looking around in the other areas, Temuka and Geraldine a high of 16 and a low of 7. Methven and Rakaya expect cloud with a high of 17. Darfield, Leeston, Ralston and Lincoln expect cloud with a high of 17 degrees. Over in Akaroa, they look set to reach the high of the region with 18 degrees. Rangiora, Kaiapoi and Amberley can expect cloud all day with a high of 17. In Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot expect to hit a low of 15. But looking ahead for Canterbury, strong gusty northwesterlies on Friday and for most of your Saturday. Fine and mild with high cloud. A cold gusty southwesterly change on Saturday evening with some rain developing. Cloudy and very cold on Sunday with wintry showers and snow to 300 metres. Moderate southwesterly winds expected and showers clearing later in the day. Cloud clearing and sunny periods increasing on Monday with northeasterly winds developing. Fresh to strong mild northwesterlies and increasing high cloud on Tuesday. And a cold southwesterly change during the evening with a period of showers. And that's all for your region's weather. Do enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
And that's CTV News for Wednesday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.